Homeowners insurance in the U.S. is increasing at an alarming rate.
Homeowners insurance premiums are doubling this year across the United States.
Anyone else in the state of North Carolina just get hit with a 38% increase on your homeowner's insurance?
My homeowner's insurance was $1,100. Well, the next year, my homeowner insurance went up to $1,750.
I paid $1,700 a year. Last year, American Family increased it to $3,400 a year. And I just got notice that they're charging for 2025 $4,933.
I 1000% believe as an agent that we're not going to go into like all these foreclosures because of interest rates. I think we're going to see those people start foreclosing for taxes and for insurance.
Welcome to Real Talk, a channel dedicated to capturing the raw, unfiltered perspectives from everyday people. No commentary, no interruptions, just real people sharing their frustrations and opinion about the economy. My goal is simple: provide a space where you can hear authentic rants, opinions, and stories from all walks of life. So make sure to like and subscribe and enjoy the rest of the video.
After making that last post, I am seeing so many comments from people whose homeowners insurance premiums are doubling this year across the United States. It's not limited to California and Florida and some of these areas that we thought it was, or at least that I thought it was. As someone who's in Maryland, I was hit with this letter about a week and a half ago from Safeco Insurance, where my insurance policy was going from $3,500 a year to $7,300 a year, so more than double. Now, since receiving this letter, I sent it out to a lot of people that I know within the industry, and I have also shopped around with a number of carriers to try to find a lower rate. First off, I'm hearing from a lot of industry professionals, insurance agents, people within the insurance industry, that insurance rates are going up across the board. There's certain companies like Safeco that are biting the bullet and increasing their rates to what they need it to be. And then there are other companies that are increasing incrementally each year to get to that point. So after shopping around to almost 100 different insurance carriers, Allstate is the entity that we decided to go with. They were actually able to get our premium down to $2,800 for the next year, saving us almost $800 from what we were paying for the last year.
Guys, I got my homeowner's insurance bill over the weekend. Whew! I was not prepared for that. I nearly had a goddamn mini stroke. God. Like an $800 increase. And trust me, my girl is good. She shops around once a year for me to make sure I'm getting the lowest rates possible for both my homeowner's insurance and my car insurance. Now, my car insurance went up about $30 a month. But my homeowner's insurance, whoo! Whoo! I think insurance is the biggest goddamn racket out there. Biggest racket. Never had a claim. Never once have I had to use either one. Thank God. So, like, I feel if you don't have a claim, you should be able to get some sort of reimbursement every year. I understand you're having to pay for services. But can I just, like, get at least half back since I don't use it? Inquiring minds want to know. Can we make that a thing? Please and thank you.
If you're a State Farm customer in Illinois and you have a homeowner's insurance policy with them, I'm not sure if you've heard the news yet, but they're raising their rates by 27% for new policies effective immediately and for existing homeowners insurance policies on August 15th. One of the reasons that they cited for such a drastic increase in homeowners insurance rates is that they've cited that they paid out $638 million in hail damage claims in Illinois, which was only second to the state of Texas. And apparently out of the 13 out of the last 15 years, they've taken on unsustainable losses in this department. Now, I think that it's absolutely hilarious that the business they're choosing to stand on for raising rates by 27% because of 13 years of financial losses, it doesn't really seem like that's the case overall, because as of their 2024 annual report, they have more than $162 billion in liquid assets And if you look down here at the bottom, their net income has changed by more than $9 billion since last year. They were running at a $4.7 billion loss in 2023 to a net profit of $4.8 billion in 2024. Interesting. So like a good neighbor, is State Farm being upfront and truthful about its reasons for raising homeowners insurance rates by 27% in Illinois? Or is this just another tactic to bamboozle your customers? So if you're a State Farm customer in Illinois, tell me how much your insurance rates are going up by. I need to know, because this is absolutely wild. And if you're ditching them for another insurance carrier, are their competitors doing any better?
Morning, everyone. I'm out here this morning doing some yard work, pissed off. And if you have American Family Insurance, you might want to stick around and listen to this. So my homeowner's insurance, 2023, I paid $1,700 a year. Last year, American Family increased it to $3,400 a year. And I just got notice yesterday from my escrow company that they're charging for 2025, or the next 12 months, because my policy just renewed, $4,933. They doubled it from 2023 to 2024, and they're doing it again. So huge increases on American Family. If you have American Family for your homeowner's insurance, I would get out.
The biggest threat to the housing market right now is not the high interest rates, or it's not the available inventory that we have for sale. It's the insurance quote. This year alone, I had 4 separate transactions that had to be canceled because we were not able to secure an insurance policy on a property that was affordable enough for my clients to be able to afford purchasing that property. As you know, if you're buying a property, especially if you have to use a loan in order to purchase that property, you have to get insurance on the house. If not, the bank will straight up deny you and you cannot close on the property. Well, what's happening right now, especially in my state, in California, a lot of insurance companies left the state, and the ones they stayed in the state and they're doing business, their policies tripled or even more than that. For example, the last property I sold, it was a townhome. My client was paying around $40 a month for that coverage. The new buyer ended up paying $250 a month for the same coverage on that property. That combined to the high interest rates and the high prices for homes, a lot of buyers are not able to qualify for the loan, and they're not ultimately able to purchase the house. So if you're thinking about buying a house right now, make sure you shop around for insurance, get an idea before you decide on a property or while you're in escrow, because you might end up having a shock.
I love a good conspiracy theory, but at this point it's not conspiracy, and I think it's just downright facts. I 1000% believe as an agent that we're not going to go into all these foreclosures because of interest rates. I think we're legitimately going to see, especially first entry houses, first time home buyer houses, I think we're going to see those people start foreclosing for taxes and for insurance. Homeowners insurance has gotten absurd. I literally just had somebody call me with a $5,700 a year premium as a first time home buyer. Now, mind you, it's a weird situation. It's not normal. I get that, but $5,700. It's not okay. This is not okay, and they can't live, and they can't make it, and they can't do, but you also can't afford not to have a house.
Home insurance doubled. Has yours increased? Let's take a look. r/homeowners posted the following. Just got my statement, paid $1,204 last year. New statement says I owe $2,115. WTF, farmers. I called and they stated inflation. My house did not double in value from last year to today. Yes, this is happening throughout the state of California. Unfortunately, homeowners insurance policies are going up. This premium increase is bad, but not that bad. I heard of a premium increase in Chula Vista that went from $5,000 to over $20,000. So what do you do if you're a buyer looking for a home? Make sure to have a cushion and the understanding that home insurance will continue to go up. Now, what if you currently own a home? Do not drop your insurance provider. Do consult your insurance rep to see if there's anything that you guys could do to adjust your policy without impacting your coverage and losing insurance. I don't see this strongly impacting the housing market. However, it might motivate a few sellers to sell. I'll make sure to keep you guys updated with the real estate market in San Diego, Chula Vista, and all topics related to real estate. Until next time.
Homeowners insurance in the U.S. is increasing at an alarming rate. This recent report was just released about the top 10 insurers in the U.S. and their rate increases over the last 6 years. For the second year in a row, rates have increased in double digits. You can see at the top of this list is American Family Insurance with a 16.5% rate increase over 2023. Why is this important? Because this affects homeowners and home buyers alike. When owning a home, affordability is typically the number one factor. Over the last couple of years, home ownership has become more difficult to achieve because of two things: interest rates and high home prices. Now there's a huge third factor, which is homeowners insurance. Every single year, homeowners insurance is dramatically increasing. Why is that? The most alarming number in here is Progressive. In the last 6 years, they've increased their rates by 87.8%, almost 100% increase in 6 years. Now, I know that you're probably looking at State Farm and say, well, they have the lowest increase over the last 6 years. Well, State Farm has also been pulling out of California and Florida that have some of the highest natural disasters in the U.S. So there's speculation that they're either denying claims or paying less claims out because of that. Now, obviously, this doesn't only affect people that are trying to purchase. This also affects people that own homes now, because maybe somebody purchased a home, it was top of their affordability. Now their insurance rates are going through the roof, and they're wondering, how do I keep continuing to pay for this house? So if you're thinking about purchasing a house, you really need to look into homeowners insurance rates, because this is going to be another key factor if you can afford to purchase a property or not. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how this can be corrected, because people that are dreaming of purchasing a home is diminishing very quickly.
Anyone else in the state of North Carolina just get hit with a 38% increase on your homeowner's insurance? Yeah, apparently that's not bad compared to what the state approved 42% premium increases for people living in the state of North Carolina. Y'all, all insurance companies can go fuck right off, because this is ass backwards. I am like death by taxes and insurance. I spend more money on taxes and insurance than I do any other thing in the entire budget of my entire family. 38% increase in my annual premium for my home, and I haven't had a fucking claim. Those insurance companies can go fuck right off.
Homeowners, how are y'all doing out there? Because I'm not okay. I just got my homeowner insurance renewal, and I am stunned. We as homeowners have to have home insurance. You have to. It's the law. You have to have home insurance. Okay, I figured it would go up a little bit because eggs cost $12, so of course everything else will go up except for our pay. But that's a different thing. So 2 years ago, my homeowner's insurance was $1,100. That's what I base my home mortgage out of. I know how much it's going to be monthly, and it's never going to change. Okay. Well, the next year, my homeowner insurance went up to $1,750, and my house payment went up an extra $200 because of that, and it was an adjustment. Okay. Now, I just got the renewal, and the renewal says that my new my new home insurance payment is going to be $4,749. That means that my house payment is going to go up an additional $370 extra that I pay for rent, my mortgage, whatever you want to call it. $370 extra from what I already pay because of home insurance monthly. Our pay isn't going up higher. How are we doing? How are we supposed to pay for the extra water bill? Don't get me started on this electric bill. The groceries. All of these things keep going up, but our pay doesn't seem going up. We aren't getting raises that are sufficient enough to be equivalent to the cost of living. A $3,000 increase, that's 100% increase on our home insurance that we do not have an option of changing. When I called Farmers, they said California is too risky to insure. So insurance companies moved out of California. So now we're stuck with the couple that left, and they're allowed to make their prices so high because it's only a couple of them. Supply and demand. Like, how is this legal? how am I now going to have to either pay $5,000 up front for my home insurance or pay an extra $375 a month on my mortgage? I might as well go rent, because at least I don't have to worry about home insurance there like that, and my monthly rent won't go up an extra of almost $400. So how are we doing out there, homeowners? My final thought: I'm a realtor. I put people in homes. I help them buy their dream home. When we purchase a home, we purchase a home thinking that this is a payment that I'm comfortable with, and I'm going to bust my butt to make sure I make this home payment. But when you increase someone's home by even $100, if that's not something they budgeted for, if that's not something they're used to paying, it takes an effect. That $100 has to come out of somewhere, and it takes an effect to everyone. And I feel horrible that as an agent, I put somebody in this home for years, and they think that this is their payment, and now everyone is going to be even a little bit tighter on their budget because now they have to pay extra for home insurance. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to shop around more home insurance and see what better quote I can get, but I'm scared to think that this is just going to be the final outcome. If there's not a lot of companies that we can go to, we're going to be stuck paying these premiums because they can. So it's just sad to think that we are all going to be a little bit tighter on money and not have more money coming in. It's just hard for everyone. So I feel you.
This is just my opinion, right? But, and this is alleged. I don't know, this is my opinion, but I want to talk about the homeowners insurance increase. Now, we know it being increased in places like California, Hawaii, Florida, or places that are affected by tornadoes and hurricanes and things of that nature. You understand that. But what I don't understand are places that doesn't commonly happen, like places like Washington, D.C., certain parts of Virginia, Connecticut, and things of that nature. That usually don't happen, right? But one thing that I'm finding out, especially in the D.C. area, Washington, D.C. area, is that crime has increased. But it's increasing in certain areas and pockets, right, where how the most desirable houses are. Let's put it like that. And I got this question I want to ask the homeowners insurance companies. It's allegedly, I don't know, but it's just a question. Are you paying people to to break into people's houses allegedly? Because this don't even make any sense, because you're not hiring people who from D.C., right? And let me tell you why. Everybody who from D.C., who born and raised in D.C., know that you do not do crime the closer you get to the Capitol Hill. Everybody knows that. Plain and simple. The closer you get down to the Library of Congress, you usually don't do no crime, because Capital City PD do not play. Capitol Hill PD do not play. They don't. And you don't do crime there. And also, D.C. is almost under 24-hour surveillance. You can't move nowhere without somebody seeing you on camera. And these detectives are smart. They can look at the cameras and find out even when you came out of your house. Right? So it don't make any sense. So I was reading an article basically that people from out of town was coming in there breaking into people's houses. Right? Stealing petty stuff and jewelry and things of that nature and all this. Just going around in the DMV area just breaking in houses. So these two couples got caught. They tried to get in a man's house. He ended up having a real pew-pew. Two of them ran, and the other one got scared because he started shaking. That's how I knew he wasn't a criminal, right? He wasn't a criminal. He had no priors and nothing. I was reading this article about it, and it was fake. His pew-pew was fake, and they were stealing stuff like jewelry and things of that nature. And 9 out of 10, he squealed, so they caught the other people, and they looked inside the car, and there was a map. They had a map and stuff like that. I'm like, what kind of criminals got a map? You know what I'm saying? They advanced. And my thought process changed. These are not criminals, right? Somebody possibly allegedly paying you. Because this doesn't make any sense. Why would you go on Connecticut Avenue and do crime? Everybody knows you don't do that, right? In certain parts of Georgia Avenue, you know you don't do that because DC's a very close-knit place. We know everybody, so we know who's who and what is what that's moving in the city. We know when you from out of town, right? And you busting windows and stuff like that in certain places. And I'm like, well, why they not taking anything? You know, you can't move that product. You can't move it anywhere. The pawn shops don't buy, you know, fenced stuff anymore because they ain't trying to lose. They're not trying to get fined. They're not trying to get arrested. So they don't even want to buy it. There ain't that many pawn shops in D.C. It's only like 2, right? So I'm like, what's up? What's going on, right? They got me to thinking that. So let's take this mind this out so you can see where it's going. Because I know some executives get a little cocky and they get, you know, because everybody's telling you yes, because you scare people with firings and things of that nature. You don't want to lose your job and all this other stuff. So people always tell you that your plans work. Well, let's go back to 2008. 2008. They thought that giving these people these mortgages were going to work and people were going to sell their arm and they were going to do whatever to keep in their house. And you know what those people did? They left that damn house right where it had and let it go foreclosure. They wasn't paying nothing, right? You know what I'm talking about. And y'all ended up having the American people bail you out. The most embarrassing, humiliating thing ever, right? And everybody started snitching. You know why? Because America is built on rebellion. It's built on it. Tea Party, Boston Tea Party, and one of the biggest ones, Independence Day, civil rights movements and everything else. One thing America cannot stand is to be told what to do and be played with in their face. And it don't matter what color they are, and especially on a regular scale. We will unite like Voltron, right? On a common Indian, and we'll go back to our perspective corner after we defeat you. So I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen if that's allegedly what you're doing. That person gonna get caught. So they're gonna get caught, and the detective's gonna be some young dude that want to make a name for themselves. That's how God usually works. He gets somebody that want to make a name for them. They ain't gonna stop at nothing to crack this case. So then he's gonna sit back and he's gonna take this picture of the cellmate, or the possibility of the cellmate for this guy that you just paid. So long story short, he gonna say, this is your cellmate, and under the bottom is gonna be colon rectal massager. You're looking at 15 years. And that joker, probably a virgin in that area, is gonna be like, hey, this, and that, and this person paid me and gave me the map, told me what was his name, because you can't send a lawyer, because if you send a fancy lawyer, they're gonna be like, he's doing petty crime. How can he afford this $100,000 an hour lawyer? Something's up. It's too many questions, right? So then all of a sudden, he about to squill on the whole jig. So now the whole jig is up, because if you don't know, it's now in a paper. Somebody written about this. So that's to let you know this stop. Because it ain't going to be good for you. So then you say, I'm senior executive and CEO. I know what I'm talking about. And you keep it going. You push this sucker. So then all of a sudden, some senator or whatever who can't stand corporations get this and start to question stuff. And says, we're going to ask you to come in front of us. And you're going to sit in front of Congress and get grilled like a petulant child. Now, let me tell you something about politicians. No matter what party they are, they all fold and flip. They don't protect you for nothing. They work for the American people, and they ain't going to lose their job for you. And they going to flip on you quicker than anybody. Ain't nobody flip faster than a politician. Faster than a politician. You understand that? I hope you get that. They flip. And you're going to sit there and they're going to grill you. And then what ends up happening is that they're going to all sit in that room and say, you know what? Sanctions, fees, government regulations, all this stuff is going to be hit with you and going to hit you so fast, your head's going to spin. Now, what's going to end up happening is that the board is going to come there while you're asleep. They're going to do you wrong. The board's going to come there while you sleep and say, hey, look, somebody got to take this. We need a scapegoat. Who came up with the plan? John? Where is he at? Oh, he just left for the Well, wait till he leave for the day and then send his stuff by FedEx and pack his shit up. He fired. That's what happens. Nobody plays with the American people. It never works. Never works. Never works. So that's just my allegedly opinion. You know, that's my opinion. Allegedly, I think something's going on, right? One of the things I'm going to tell you right now is you're sloppy. You're sloppy. You're not good at crime. That ain't the way to go, B. Peace.